Hello, everyone. My name is Brian.
I'm Jennifer Ochoa.
My name is David.
I'm Ruby.
I'm Lisette.
And for our topic when it comes to issues in education, we chose violence, and within violence, we chose to talk about bullies in school. So before we start our presentation, we want to show you guys a quick little video about what we're gonna talk about in this presentation.
Questions can pop up anytime, even when it's late. When you need solutions to your homework problems,
Hey, little Jimmy. It's been a whole day since I had the chance to pick on you. Do you miss me? Hey, have you ever seen me get fit inside one of these lockers? I bet you're small enough. Who wants to see if I can lock little Jimmy inside his locker? Hey, little Jimmy. It's been a while since I given someone a swirl with.
Look, I'm sorry about what happened in the bathroom earlier. Sorry I didn't help you.
I thought we were friends, but you just stood there and did nothing.
Look, I'm sorry, but
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What are you two ladies fighting about? Hey, I'm talking to you.
Leave me alone.
I said I'm talking to you.
I said leave me alone.
What'd you say to me? Boy, I'm gonna teach you a lesson.
hey, get off him.
And what do you think you're gonna do about it?
You mean, what are we gonna do about it?
Hey, what's going on here? Damien, come with me.
What? I didn't even do anything. I should be thankful.
Hey, Mike, this for doing that for me.
Don't mention it. What are friends for? So if you saw someone getting bullied in your school, what would you do?
I hope you have the courage to stand up for them.
Okay, so what is bullying? The behavior of a person who hurts or frightens someone smaller or less powerful, often forcing that person to do something they do not want to do. There are 6 types of bullying in schools. The first one is physical bullying. Physical bullies are bigger and stronger. They tend to use kicking, slapping, punching, and shoving as their physical attacks against their targets. This is the most unchallenging form of bullying to recognize because you're able to see it when it's happening. Verbal bullying is when someone uses harsh insults to hurt another person. They can use words, statements, and name calling to gain power. Cyberbullying happens through the internet, phone, or any other technology to harass and intimidate a person. Cyberbullies do this because they often don't have the courage to say it face to face. Sexual bullying consists of humiliating actions that target a person sexually. They can use name-calling, unwanted touching, and offensive comments. Prejudicial bullying, when a person bullies because of a different race, religion, or sexual orientation. Relational aggression, referred as emotional bullying. It's social control, where the bullies tease, insult, ignore, and exclude the target. These bullies have a goal, which is to expand their own social standing.
Where in school does it happen the most? We obviously know that bullying occurs in school. You might even have an idea where it happens, but in the article titled Anatomy of School Bullying by Stefan Merrill provides us with a picture that demonstrates where bullying occurs the most on school grounds. As you can see, 42% is the highest, and that's the hallways and the staircase. And that's where bullying takes place most due to the fast pace of students interacting with each other in the hallways. And second to that is 34% inside the classrooms. And the lowest is 9% inside the locker rooms, and 10% in the school bus, and followed by that is 19% in the playground. And you would think that, that's the place where bullying takes place the most, but that's not the case. And then we got the cafeteria at 22%.
So who is affected the most? So anyone from school, any student from school, or basically anybody could be a victim of bullying. In schools, we usually see that those victims are basically those who lack the social skills to talk to other people, as in to like make friends, or like try to make like more acquaintances with other people, or those who can't stand up for themselves. And those are the type of people that are usually facing bullying every day. I found this article titled Bullying and Cyberbullying by Susan Larica that states school-age children who are unpopular or friendless or have low self-esteem are vulnerable to being bullied, along with LGBT students and those with disabilities. So bullying could happen for literally any reason. So it could be things such as race, sexual orientation, facial physique, or even body weight. And basically anything that that lowers the self-esteem of someone else and makes them feel bad is considered an act of bullying. Consequences of bullying. After basically facing so much stress from bullying and like gaining that kind of sense of inferiority compared to other people, victims usually tend to be a bit more depressed than other people, and sometimes like it actually becomes a severe depression, and they tend to become much more insecure about themselves as they feel terrible and alone. And in certain cases it actually leads for them to contemplate suicide, and sometimes it goes as far in extreme cases to becoming a school shooter. So based on the article that I stated in the previous slide, the same author states that victims as young as 8 have taken their lives after being persecuted by mean-spirited rumors and personal attacks posted on social media sites. Bullying victims are also more likely than other students to bring a gun to school. And to support this piece of information, I found this one other article by Allison Paolini titled School Shootings and Student Mental Health, Role of the School Counselor in Mitigating Violence. And it basically states that the Safe Schools Initiative report also suggested that 71% of the attackers were victims of bullying. In regards to bullying, 87% of school shooting perpetrators left behind evidence that they were victims of severe bullying. So with this being said, basically there are some people who are basically bullies, but in their eyes they think that their comments are not as offensive, or that they shouldn't really be getting too insecure or making such a big deal about it. But like in the eyes of the victim, it actually could lead them to develop such a feeling of sadness inside that leads to like years long depression, or they could even like grow very angry deep within, and it could lead them to want to not only harm themselves, but also harm those around them, which in extreme cases leads to someone becoming a school shooter and bringing even more violence to the school site.
Not only does bullying at school affect students' emotional and social lives, it also directly affects their schoolwork and engagement in the classroom. There are an estimated 160,000 children who miss school on any given day because they are too afraid to attend. According to research done by UCLA, students who are repeatedly bullied receive poorer grades and participate less in class discussions. Most of the time, students may get mislabeled as low achievers because they do not want to speak up in class for fear of getting bullied. Study shows that 1 in 10 students who drop out of school make mention of bullying as one of the reasons. School needs to be a positive and safe environment. Children cannot get a quality education if they don't feel safe at school. This is why I think we need to make changes in our school system and find ways to prevent bullying.
What can we do to prevent it? Help students develop empathy. You can do this by teaching them that actions or words might make other people sad, hurt, or cry. Foster an understanding of respect for diversity and difference. Having books that talk about different countries, cultures, traditions, or showing videos. Helping students control their emotions. Make the classroom a safe and positive environment. Create a code of conduct, establish programs that help prevent bullying. These types of programs educate parents and students on different types of bullying and offer help and prevention.
So we actually found an article titled Resources to Fight Bullying and Harassment at Schools. And within that article, we saw another video that was pretty useful and basically explaining like what could happen to a victim of bullying as the years go by, and even like within the times that they're getting bullied.
I mean, obviously, bullying behavior is, gone on, since, the beginning of time. We can observe it in other cultures and certainly in animal groups as well. Research into it is really just kind of started in the 1980s. There was 3 boys in Norway that committed suicide, and they each left notes that describe some of the bullying that they'd experienced at school, and that generated a lot of interest, a national study in Norway, and it's kind of continued from there. Where our study kind of fits in is we've kind of got a group of kids that we followed up over time for 2 decades, so we could look at how they were doing as adults. Based upon the interviews that we did with our kids when they were children, ages 9 to 16, we were able to categorize them as either victims only, bullies and victims, and neither. And then we followed them up into young adulthood, ages 19, 21, and 25, to look at their emotional and behavioral functioning. And what we saw is that the pure victims had elevated rates of anxiety disorders, things like agoraphobia, panic disorder, and generalized anxiety. The bully victims really seemed to be the worst off. They had about 5 times higher risk of depression and 5 times higher risk of suicidal thoughts and behavior, as well as risk for some anxiety disorders too. The bullies did not have any kind of emotional problems in adulthood, but they did still have some behavioral problems, suggesting that they might still be engaging in some kind of bullying, perhaps at work or home or elsewhere.
So one of the things we know about the kids that are bullying, that they're at greater risk for depression and anxiety. They may be more sad, lonely, have low self-esteem, have problems, disrupted sleep, disrupted eating. They may have problems, loss of pleasure, having fun, engaging in activities that they once thought were fun. We know they can have physical consequences. Kids who are bullied report all sorts of psychosomatic symptoms. They might report having more headaches, tummy aches, those kind of things. And actually, there's some interesting body of literature, some supported by NIMH, suggesting that immune system functioning is affected by peer victimization and trauma. So that there may be actually very real physical health outcomes, and immune system function can affect a wide range of everything from not only your ability to handle colds and to fight off viruses and things like that, but it also can affect your cognitive development and emotional development as well. There are all sorts of academic outcomes. Kids who are bullied may avoid school. They may do poorly in school. They tend to be more truant and drop out more often.
A lot of this is about raising awareness that, bullying is not a harmless rite of passage. This is something I think that's, people are starting to understand. I think we still kind of look at it as something that's bad, but maybe short-term bad. And part of what we're learning from this study is that these kids, the victims and the bully victims, are continuing to have trouble, a decade after the bullying has stopped.
SAMHSA, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, actually has a registry of prevention programs that are available to schools and to policymakers that includes online resources around bullying prevention. And so that's a resource. Also a great resource put out by the Department of Health and Human Services is www.stopbullying.gov, which is a great resource for parents, for teachers to identify what bullying is, the signs of bullying, the effects, and then what one can do to help prevent bullying itself and then the long-lasting effects of it.
So basically, what we saw in the previous video is basically the side effects of bullying with the victims. So what we clearly see is that that students do tend to become more depressed, and like their grades kind of show their mental stress and how they're not doing so well. But the other thing that was quite noticeable is that even as the years go by, students well, not students, but like once they're already adults, like even though they may not be bullied during that time, like they may still have some trauma from the past, and they may still feel pretty insecure and upset about themselves because they were made to feel that way years ago, that they're stuck in a loop of the past and they can't really bring themselves to become better versions of themselves. So even though like we do see like a lot of websites that basically tell us like what bullying is, like the signs of someone getting bullied and like what can we do to prevent it, like we still see bullying nowadays in schools, and it kind of should give us the question to reflect, as in like what as a society, what are we doing wrong, that even though we have all these resources, that bullying is still occurring, And this is our works cited.